Good afternoon. It's Elizabeth tuning in to today's Tasty Yes episode. It has been a while, hasn't it? The last several weeks, we've had a lot of fun with the Launch to Sold Out Boot Camp. What else do we have happening in here? We had our pre-launch party leading up to the boot camp. It was so much fun, and we had just a great turnout with students coming in, and I got a lot of great feedback. So today's episode is going to be 3 mind-blowing marketing moves that you probably haven't yet tried. And so I want to have this conversation here today on our Tasty Yes Tuesdays. As you know, every week, same time, same place, only here inside of the Facebook group. If you are tuning in up above, click on that StreamYard link and let me know that you're here. Can you hear me? Let me just double check here. I want to make sure that technology is cooperating, because sometimes you think it does, and then it doesn't ever really do what it's supposed to do, right? So let's see here. I think I'm on. So if you are catching and tuning in today, let me know where you're tuning in from. Let me know if you're catching this here on the live or the replay. So I got my coffee in hand. I am enjoying just relaxing after an intense 5-day boot camp with many of y'all that showed up. I want to just talk to you a little bit about some of the changes that are also going to be happening right before I dive into today's teaching topic on those marketing moves. So just a couple of things. I'm going to walk you through. I'm really excited to host my first Work Jam event here inside of our community. It is a paid event. And what it is it's going to be, if you haven't been to a work jam before, it is like a working session where we're going to spend 2 days, 2 hours each day, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time to 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, to literally crank out your next 30 days worth of customer attracting content. It is literally a doing jam. I've been wanting to do the doing sprints for quite some time, just haven't been able to fit that into my schedule, and May's right around the corner, and people just really loved the actionness, if that's a word, of the boot camp, getting things done. People were like, Elizabeth, I love how the boot camp showed up, you trained, you did this, boom, we got things done. So I'm going to talk about this boot camp in a little bit. The other thing that I want to tell you that I'm going to start doing in May is I'm going to start doing hot seats for Facebook personal profile optimization. So if you would love some feedback directly from me on how to optimize your Facebook personal profile, we got a lot more goodies coming up from there as well. This is something that I do for my students inside the Customer Yes Lab. And based on the feedback that I got from my boot camp, which is they really loved either the direct feedback I was giving them, answering their questions, really eyeballs looking at their work and helping them find the perfect word for who their MVP is, for how to articulate really the work that they do. That's the reason why I'm going to start doing that in May. So we got a lot of goodies here in May that's coming up just for you as part of this community. So, all right, so let's dive into today's topic. Today's topic is the 3 mind-blowing moves that you're probably never really tried. I want to know, if you're tuning in, what are some of the biggest challenges that you have with marketing and messaging in general? Let me know in the comments. What are some of the biggest challenges that you face when it comes to your marketing and your messaging, right? So before I forget, if you want the notes to my topic today, make sure that you type handouts in the comments so that my team can get you a copy of literally what I'm going to be teaching you today. So tip 1, what is that mind-blowing marketing move? Oftentimes, you've heard it millions and millions of times about how you need to niche down on who your target audience is, right? But I don't know why, but for some reason, the word niche really scares people. It really scares people. And so what I want to talk to you today is not so much about niching, but really to reframe that and think about it as speaking to a specific person. When you are doing your marketing and you are speaking to everyone, or only talking about what you do and only yourself, speak to everyone you sell to no one. I often say inside of the Customer Yes Lab to my students, look, if you want to be noticed by your MVP, your most valuable paying customers, you've got to notice them first. So when you are creating your marketing, your content, speak to a specific person, okay? And the way that I think of niche is oftentimes it's like industry. So, for example, you might be like, I'm in the health and wellness space, right? And then category, which is then I sell supplements, right? So, then what is niche? It's who you sell the supplements to specifically, right? And if you were part of my boot camp or you've been following me for a while, I often say not every single customer is created equal. The MVP is the niche, the type of customer, your most valuable paying customer that you want to go for, right? And today I think is actually even it's important for everyone, but if you're a network marketer or an MLM marketer, or you're maybe a service provider that is selling other people's products that are not your own, today's topic is going to be for you, because what I'm talking about is really at the heart of marketing is positioning. And this actually came up during the boot camp, and this really sparked a lot of different part of the teaching for why I'm calling out my network marketers, because oftentimes they think, okay, well, who is my MVP? I don't have a vehicle or a product, or most of the time their challenges are two things. They have way too much products because based on their company that they're with, they just have everything for lifestyle. So they're very vague. They're like, I sell lifestyle products. Okay, what does that even really mean? Right? Or they're like in a heavily regulated industry, like some of the life insurance, financial wealth building products, where they can't necessarily directly promote or market a product. So the reason why I'm calling you out is because this could work for you, or it could work for my other service based business owners that have their own brand, that have their own services and products as well. But I'm making this distinction because I don't want you to miss out on the most important thing that you can do for yourself. The reason why you wanted to start your own business was to build your business, build an online income stream for you. And when you are selling other people's products, that is still very much like an employee mindset. You put all of those marketing efforts, and I see it on social media all the time, promoting other people's products, someone else's brand. And I'm going to talk about this in a little bit, but going back to the first mind-blowing marketing tip is you've got to speak to a specific person. You've got to pick a theme and really focus on doing that. Okay? So if you are tuning in here live, let me know that you're here. Okay? Let me know. Send me some hearts, send me some fire. Let me know if this is resonating with you so that we can keep going. All right? Now, when it comes to this tip of really speaking to a specific person and niching, when it comes to your social media, I want you to niche in your news feed, right? And know in your stories. What do I mean by that? When it comes to converting content that attracts and converts, right? And when it comes to sales, we know that we need to build a relationship with our audience so that they know, like, and trust us, right? But many of us believe that, and this is really not your fault, but we've been taught to believe that we've got to show up very, quote, authentic in our newsfeed, in our social media. And let's keep it real though. Those that do business online, we know that, like, I don't know what the percentage, most of the people that show up online are curating the content. They're not really real, right? Like the filtered photos. I'm guilty on a couple of those as well too, right? But here's what I want you to think about when you are speaking to your specific person, okay? And again, if you want my notes, type handout into the comments. If you want some help around what I'm teaching today, type strategy into the comments so that my team can get this out to you. So Ayana, if you're catching this, could you lead by example in the comments and just help comment handout for Elizabeth's notes? And then can you also comment type strategy for personalized call on how to apply this? All right, that would be awesome. So the folks that are catching this can see this in the comments. Okay. So you want a niche in your news feed, which is really all the content that really has to do with positioning you as the go-to expert. And as I said, a lot of us have been told, like, oh, have you ever seen those posts where people are drinking a shake and they're like, ooh, I'm so excited to drink my like healthy shake. Look, it's made by this brand, right? And you're like, really? Okay. Right? I know you've seen some of those. I'm not trying to call or shame anyone. I'm just saying that people are smart enough to be able to read between the lines. And in just a moment here, I'm going to share with you some tips on how you can overcome that. Okay? So, and then what do I mean by know you in your stories? What I mean by that is that all of the really authentic stuff should really be segmented in stories, whether that's Facebook stories or Instagram stories, really keeping those really personal, authentic feeds, moments, posts in your stories. Most users go to stories to learn about who you are behind the scenes and what they're really looking for, right? This is a really good clue. Is what your audience is looking for is she real? Is she trying to scam me? Are they fake? Right? And so those are some of the things that people are looking for. So they're going to quote double check the news feed of what you're posting in your news feed, which often most people keep very curated versus what you're putting in your stories. So keep the niche in the news feed and keep your stories, the you getting to know you in your stories. Okay. So if you want a handout of my notes, type handouts so that you get my notes. And if you want a strategy call on how to personalize these tips, then type strategy for personalized call. Okay. And my team will get the links out to you. All right. So what's the second tip that I got for you? The second tip that I have for you is really when it comes to conversion posts, these are posts that you are posting to promote either a launch of a new event, a launch of a new product. Maybe you have open enrollment in your program. Maybe you're taking on new clients or offering some sort of special deal. It's a promotion event. It's a promotional post. I call it a conversion post. You want to create curiosity with it. See, most people, when they post something like they have maybe a new product or a new service that's coming out, they give way too much information. They give all the details away. It actually feels like TMI vomit, right? I'll give you an example. So, for example, let's say that you have a new eye palette makeup piece that you're launching, right? And instead of talking about the details that matter, what you do is you're like, oh, look, I have this new product. It's launching and it's, I don't know, spring and it has all these beautiful spring colors and it costs us $37 and it's this brand and it's beautiful. And people are like, okay. So what you want to do with those type of posts is you want to create curiosity, but you also need to create a gap. And what do I mean by that? The gap is really between generating enough curiosity where there's interest, but there's also a gap where they don't have the knowledge and the details. So, for example, you don't really want people to know, right? Like the name or the brand or how much right off the bat. And the reason why is because you want to stir curiosity to start a conversation so that you can truly serve. So let me give you an example of the same eye palette with the spring collection, right? How I might flip that so that it sparks curiosity is I might write a post that says, wow, these just got the spring colors. And I love how I can wear these beautiful spring color eye palettes that last literally 14-hour days and does not crease my does not crease my eyelids, right? Who wants to know more? I don't say anything about the brand. I don't say anything about the price. What I'm really talking about here, folks, are truly benefits that really based on the specific person, going back to tip one, that I'm talking to, that I know is going to attract my MVP. Right? I'm not talking about the features. I'm not talking about the thing of how much it is and what brand it is and like how many eye color palettes are there in the actual kit. I'm not talking about any of that. What I'm talking about is what do I get the customer out of using that? Is it long lasting eyewear without creasing? Right? Is it saving me time? Right? Now, I get it. I know exactly why people, when it comes to these conversion posts, completely vomit all the details. Do you want to know why? They post their link, they post the price, they post the brand. Do you know why? Because they don't want to come across as sleazy in that sales post. So they're like, oh, I'm going to give you every single detailed information so that you feel like I'm not trying to be sleazy and selling you on this. So here's all the details that you're going to completely need to know more about this product. See, I'm not sleazy. That's the reason why. And what I'm saying to you is that you got to shift that. You've got to shift that because what it's really about, even a conversion post, even if you are really truly looking to sell, it is truly about serving. And your curiosity post, even in sales, has to be about starting a conversation. And the conversation really is about how do you know that this product is right for you? How do I provide enough information of the value and the benefits of this new product, this new service, this new workshop, this new event that really will serve you enough to spark curiosity and generate interest so that you can ask me questions, so that you and I can start a conversation? See, that should be your intent of a conversion post. If your intent of a conversion post is to sell, right? Then in your mindset, you're already like, I don't want to be sleazy, so let me vomit all of these crazy details up front in my post so that I don't feel sleazy. That's not service. That's not service to your audience. That's serving you. You're the one that doesn't want to feel sleazy. But your marketing, your content should really be about service and starting a conversation. If you're selling something, you're selling a solution that is supposed to hopefully, right, solve someone else's pain points. And so what you're trying to start with those type of conversations in your marketing is a conversation. Is this right for you? Can I help you figure out what's right for you, whether it's with me or someone else? That's the intent of these posts, right? So 2, create curiosity with conversion sales posts. Give just enough information to cause interest, but create a gap between the interest and the knowledge to start a conversation online, whether it's, in the comment thread or in the DM, right? So what's a tip here that you could take away next time? And if you're part of this group all week, as you know, we drop daily prompts that's all about action because I'm all about doing, because when do results happen, folks? Results happen in the doing. So you get it from my handout. And then, for the lives that week, our posts here inside of the group also have these themes. Okay. So I want you to challenge yourself next time when you're writing a post and you're about to vomit all of these details with too much details that does not even hold your audience's attention, is I want you to challenge yourself and ask yourself, what can I hold back to serve? And then here's where I'm going to make the distinction to my network marketers. When you vomit all those unnecessary details, what does the consumer do? If you tell them the brand and the price, right, they start to go and they Google it, right? And they start to go and look on it online. And even though it was your hot tip, that led the inspiration for them to go and learn more about it, odds are they're going to go online and they're going to start searching and they're going to end up buying it somewhere online. And that's not going to be tracked back to you. How is that a win-win for you if you're a network marketer? I don't get it, right? So instead, I would rather have you sit there and think about how can I spark curiosity to start a conversation and truly serve my specific audience, my MVP, and not get into this mindset, oh, I don't want to be sleazy. Because when you get into that mindset with your content, the only person you're serving is you. Because you're like, I'm going to vomit all these details and overwhelm my customer because it makes me feel less sleazy. And guess what? A confused customer never buys. Scroll next, 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 next. Got it? All right. So tip number 3. Okay. What is sales really all about? Sales is really about trust. There's just no cutting corners. The sleaze happens when it comes to sales is when people try to skip building trust. I want you to think about relationships in your life, whether it's a partnership with your kids or complete strangers that you've just met casually, professionally at networking events. What makes them trustworthy? It's the consistency in how they show up, right? One, do they show up consistently when they say they're going to? And when they do show up, are they consistent in what they're saying? Or are there gaps or things that don't make sense? Do they say things one day and then the next day it's something completely different? See, when it comes to marketing in our business, we forget, especially online, that sales always comes back down to trust. If you do not want to feel sleazy in your marketing or your sales, you've got to prioritize building trust over selling. I know it sounds really counterintuitive. It really does. But here's how you can start to think about this mind-blowing move in your marketing. Okay? You build trust by building your brand reputation. What is your brand reputation? I call it your leadership. You got to show up as the number one go-to expert in that niche of yours, and you've got to demonstrate. You've got to prove to your audience that you know the way, you show the way, you are the way. And that has everything to building up your brand reputation. You see, trust happens when you actually become your brand. You see, if you're a network marketer, this is why it's really hard sometimes, because you're one of millions who are selling the same products. And I know this is going to be so counterintuitive to everything that your uplines and that marketing branding company is going to tell you or have been telling you or training you on. But quite frankly, I'm going to keep it real with you. Okay? Because quite frankly, if you are starting your own business, right? You're selling your own products and services. You have to shift from employee mindset to the founder CEO mindset, right? If you decide to start your own business, even as a side hustle, as a network marketer, you've got to shift truly from that mindset to truly like building your own business and brand mindset. When you are busy promoting someone else's brand, if you're a network marketer, I'm going to keep it real. You're still wearing the employee mindset because the brand that you're building is not your own. You're putting equity, sweat, tears, time, resources into building someone else's brand, not yours. Because see, I don't know what life's going to be like 3 to 5 years from now, 2 years from now. You might decide to switch companies. You might decide to switch products, right? Just like as an entrepreneur, I might decide to switch services. But my brand reputation is going to be the only thing that is going to stay with me, as well as the audience that I've curated over the years. This is your number one asset. Why not promote and build trust by building your brand reputation, your leadership? That's yours. You got to treat that baby like intellectual property here, folks. So, all right. So your brand requires consistency in being an everyday value add in your audience's newsfeed. What I mean by that is you've got to earn the engagements. You got to earn the shares. Some stats that I was looking at as I was looking at some of my marketing is that on average, people follow 250 like influencers on social media on one platform. On average, 250. Okay. So you're competing with like some big names and celebrities that the average user follows. 250. How many of those 250 followers do you think that people actually sit around and actually engage with? Any guesses? On average, on a given day, the average user only gives out like 9 likes, 9 engagements. You know, the little comment like, on average, 9 little Facebook likes. Boop, 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 boop. You got to earn that one of 9. I hate to break it to you, right? But it's really earning that engagement that helps you stay top of mind in that person's newsfeed. And I've said this over and over again, folks. The only way to beat the algorithm without having to pay for traffic is consistency, 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 and showing up, posting, doing your thing. And then what's the second thing? Probably quality content, right? So oftentimes people feel sleazy or salesy because they're not thinking of it as building trust. So they vomit all these details in their posts when it doesn't serve them. All right. So you've got to build your leadership position because that's really building your brand position and your brand reputation. Okay. So what's a really quick way that you can start to really demystify and build trust immediately? Well, you promote all the brands you love, even the brands that you make $0 in. Okay. So earlier in step 1, I said your niche content should be in your news feed. Your getting to know you and all the brands you love should be in your stories. Okay. That's how that's how I distinguish and divide the two channels, if you will. Okay. And so if you're a network marketer, this is really important because, oh my goodness, this is very counterintuitive to how a lot of network marketers have been trained, which is, oh, you just got to talk about the product. You just got to talk about the product. But you don't want to be known for the person selling that product, right? If you ever look at any of those successful uplines, the ones that are, quote, posting, the $1 million vacations and, oh, that beautiful home over there. I want you to just think about that. Those that you see. You see, they already put in the equity and the work to get to where they are. People already they already bypassed the first milestone to get to where they are, to get to that level of success. Do you want to know what that is? That first milestone is people already know them. People already know them for the one thing, their leadership position. See, they've put in all the time, the years as an upline to be able to be known for that one thing. So now that they're, quote, successful, they can now post like all the yachts and $1 million vacation homes and all of that because now they know, right? Their audience isn't just people who need to buy their products. Their audience is what? All the folks that they want to inspire to keep working for them. So their audience, their most valuable paying customers aren't necessarily new customers, folks. Their most valuable paying customers are the people that are coming under them that they're trying to inspire to come work for them. That's their MVP. So don't get that confused. Okay. I'm keeping it real because I see too many of this and I'm all about, network marketing and you doing what works for you. But I have been on too many calls with too many people who were like, yeah, like I had one client who was who wanted to talk to me about really whether or not she should continue to work with the team that she was working in for network marketing, right? And she said, my team lead said that I should not be working with you because he can help me get to where I need to be. But I just really feel like his interest in my growth is solely dependent on the interest in keeping me on his team so that if I'm working for him, he continues to make money. But because I hired you out of my own pocket as a coach, I know that what you're looking out for isn't me staying on this team. What you are helping me build is the business that I want, which is solely my brand. This network marketing, these products, it's just one avenue of the business and brand I'm looking to build for myself. And I said, damn, girlfriend, if there were more people that thought like you, that realize that the number one asset that you have to your success is your own brand reputation, people would not be messing around, right? Like just promoting other people's products, but instead doing that, but also thinking much more strategically about how do I build my brand reputation while working for this company or while working and using that product. Just thinking a lot broader, right? This is easier for some of us who are not selling other people's products, but truly selling our own. But I want to make this distinction because your trust, your brand reputation is solely built on that. And so to nip that, right? To nip that, you've got to be promoting all brands that you love, especially the ones where you are not making money out of, because then people trust you that you are truly recommending brands that you genuinely love. So if you follow me, now you're like, some of you might even go to my stories and start peeking like, does Elizabeth do what she's preaching and teaching, right? And if you know me, you know that, yes, I work out, right? I love makeup. I love skincare. I love shoes. I got kids. So those are type of things that I will be posting, that I do post in my stories, right? And so I, am very clear on what makes it into my groups, what makes it into my personal versus my stories. And that is the number one thing to really think about, not vomiting your whole entire life and business and what you promote and do, like all on social media. Because, and again, this is because we have been made to believe that we've got to be authentic. So it's not really your fault. I'm just saying to you, just be much more strategic about the type of marketing that you're doing and making sure that it is truly focused on building trust, that you're speaking to one specific person, and that your niche is really should belong in your main newsfeed, and all the other stuff, all the getting to know you, the authenticity, the personal, should more than likely be on in your stories. That your posts are really about creating curiosity and interest, as well as a gap between the interest and the knowledge, right? And lastly, that you are building the trust with your audience by building your own brand reputation, whether it's you selling other people's products or you selling your own products. Okay? This is very critical. I see way too many people, especially network marketers, especially my financial wealth building, entrepreneurs who sell life insurance, health insurance, all of those policies, who often cannot quote market and promote those specific products and kind of have to skirt around it. That's a little different than I think my network marketers who have been trained and told by their uplines and companies to just like show the product in your lifestyle, kind of like if you ever watch those product placements in the movies, like the K drama or the C drama, where it's a complete like product placement because all of a sudden they're fighting and all of a sudden, the leading lady pulls up her like Sprite bottle and she's like drinking it in the middle of the fight, and then they zoom in and you're like, product placement, right? Like that kind of stuff. That's the stuff that I see from some of my quote network marketer friends in their posts. And people can see between the lines, and honestly, like some people get really irritated when people are all up in their DMs trying to say, hey, you want to earn extra income, blah, blah, blah. But I often say, you know what? If it's an honest living, like it doesn't bother me because I can always say no. And as long as they're respectful of that and they're not pushy and being like super aggressive on me joining whatever, like I don't have a problem with that, right? It's an honest living, right? And there's no quorums about that. But I've talked to too many people who build their quote business in terms of network marketing. And I just want you to think about this. It's not a bad profession, but in network marketing, it is straight up, you're a sales distribution partner. Okay. So if you're going to build your online, not just your online income, but if you're going to build your income and business that way, There's nothing wrong with that. But I just keep it really real. If you're going to build it that way as like your revenue generating income, then just own your brand reputation. Because at the end of the day, you should be able to switch companies, switch products, and people should still know you for that one thing, right? It should not matter what products you're pushing or selling or right? Like people should still know you for that. You don't lose audience members because you quote switched companies. And this is very much aligned to what I teach my students and service providers who are selling their own brand. When you own your leadership position, I often say, right? People know you as the number one go-to expert in that area, right? You have an abundance of products. It doesn't matter what your products are. It's the same concept. But again, I'm making this distinction because during my boot camp, I spoke to several students that were network marketing and they were asking questions like, will this work for me? Does this work for me? And I just got to keep it real because I've just had too many conversations around people who spent a lot of money invested in that, a lot of time. I'm going to share another conversation as we wrap up. I was talking to a recent student of mine, and she was just sharing with me some of the frustrations that she had, given that she in the past had worked in network marketing. And she often talked about the frustration. And this is why she really wanted to hire a coach and work with me, because she said she was often frustrated by the fact that even though she had the drive to, quote, learn the business and sell, if her team lead for a couple of days kind of burnt out or was MIA, she felt like she had no one to learn from. She had no one that was really, truly looking out for her best interest. And she felt that in order for her to get that mentorship to learn and grow, she would either had to, I don't know, like switch companies or switch teams to find basically a better team leader. And I just thought to myself, wow, like what a waste of time and effort. Why not just hire a coach that you're looking for you who has no ties to you making money? Because once you invest in the coach is already obviously paid for, and her or his only interest is to help you thrive. There's no strings attached. There's nothing in it for the coach to quote, have you keep buying things so that the coach keeps making money. And I've just had too many of those conversations that I just need to raise my hand and say something, right? It's an honest living, but I want you to work smart because you're already working harder. I just want you to work smarter and build your brand based on the trust versus building up someone else's brand, thinking that that's you starting your business when that's no different than an employee mindset. Okay. Cool. All right. So I love it. I love it. Becky, you need to book a call with me, type strategy in the call and we'll get that out to you. So I got some really fun things coming up, as I mentioned, in our Facebook group. In May, we're going to start doing some hot seats for Facebook personal optimization. That's coming up. And also in May, I'm going to just pull this up. This is a paid event. We're trying to figure out how to update this in Facebook. The last time I did this, a lot of things have shifted in Facebook, so you'll have to forgive me. But basically, I'm going to be hosting work jams because I love getting things done. This is a paid event, although I'm trying to figure out how to change the price on here, but apparently they changed the settings. Thanks, Facebook. So basically, if you've never been to a work jam session before, it's basically a doing jam. Literally, we get on for 2 hours for both days and basically we get things done. So for this sprint, what we are creating is 30 days worth of client attracting content. Okay, so it is on May 6th and 7th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. It's going to be on Zoom. You get this after paid registration. You bring your favorite beverage, music, whatever it is that you need to get done. Okay. And content can really be anything that's about posts or emails, vlogs, blogs, lives, podcasts. I don't know what else is out there, but anything that you want to consistently create content for, this is the perfect thing to bring. Okay. And you can invite other people. They don't necessarily just have to be part of the Facebook group. Okay. So this is what you get. So prior to the work jam session, prior to the sprint, you're going to get from me some prompts and some of my favorite like must-have lists, things that you should start gathering or looking at so that when you come to the sprint session, you're ready to start doing. Like during the sprint session, you shouldn't be like, oh, I wonder what I posted last month. Oh, let me spend the 2 hours doing research on what I posted last month. No, no, no. You want to do that so then literally at the sprint session, you're literally like ready to start creating content. Okay. And then you'll get some of my proven frameworks. I'm going to be sharing with you my own personal favorites of my proven frameworks, as well as some of those in the industry that I follow, that I love and adore because I think it works. And so this is really about what is the right content mix? How many, what type of content should I be writing on that's about my personal life versus content that's about posts? Okay, those are things that we're going to be doing. And then during the jam session, sprint session, then everything's timed. I'll be guiding you through prompts so that we can get those creative juices flowing. And then the recordings after the jam sessions are for you to keep. Okay, so let's talk about who this is for and who it's not for. Okay, if you create content and you have a fairly good idea of maybe 3 to 4, at least 3 topic areas that you want to create content for, this is for you. Okay. For you, if you really need some inspiration to spark ideas, maybe you consider yourself not a really creative person and you just need like some ideas to get going. You want content generation to be more fun, right? Because doing it by yourself is boring. And let's just be real. You just need accountability. You just need someone to be like, okay, 30 days, get it done, right? And you like to have like a sounding board. Like maybe sometimes you get stuck and you're like, oh my gosh, what do you guys think about this? This is the session for you, okay? Let's talk about who this is not for, okay? This is not for how to learn, how to write or design or create content. This is not a presentation style of learning. I will briefly have some frameworks that provide some guidance, but this is not going to be like come, observe, and learn. This is doing, okay? This is not for you if you are still thinking about some ideas. All right, you got to be a little further along than that because you're actually creating your own content. I'm not creating it. You got to create it. You got to do the work. It's not for you if you are not ready to post or do any live streams. Like maybe it's fear, maybe you're still planning or thinking about it and you don't know what you want to post yet, whatever that reason. If you're not ready yet, this is not for you. Okay. And it's so not for you if you're hoping to come network and pitch or sell services that have to do with marketing, content, social media, or anything like that. Okay. Right now, I got this in Facebook working on our registration page, but I wanted to get this out to you so that for those interested, you can grab this early birds pricing. So what is our game plan? Pre-work, right? I'm going to get this out to you in an email. You gather data, brainstorm ideas before the sprint. Day 1, 2 hours, we crank out 30 days worth of content, keep it really short and simple. Boom, it's done. Day 2 is all about publishing. So this is really where you start to identify what you need to publish. Maybe you're going to be writing a post and you need graphics. So you want to start collecting that. Or maybe you just want to start scheduling that immediately in either the native, which is inside of Facebook, or maybe use a social media management tool to start do that. But basically, we are cranking out 30 days of content. 30 days or more, okay? Right now, we're working on the registration page, but if you want it, send me a DM or Venmo me payment. And basically, y'all, $97 for 2 days with me for 4 hours to get 30 days of your client attracting content done, okay? So early bird special, $97. It expires on April 26th, and it's limited to the first 20 people. And this is open to anyone and everyone. And then last minute special starts the day after for $197. And then for my active students inside of the Customer Yes Lab, you get a special rate of $47 to come. If you really are like, I just need time set aside and accountability to truly start getting things done. This is what this is all about. So I have the event in here. We'll get the registration link done and out but I wanted you to know that these are some of the doing sprint sessions that we're going to start doing. If you are loving this, let me know in the comments. Say love. And if you're loving this, send me some fires, some hearts, and the emojis so I know that you're feeling this, because I am all about doing and I am all about results. And that's one of the things that you found very consistently clear in my boot camp. And one of the things that I will be focused on, as I said, is starting in May, is we want more action. I'm all about action takers, because when do results happen? Results happen in the doing. But sometimes what keeps us stuck at doing is having to do it by ourselves, not knowing where to start, right? And so this is really what this community is all about. It's all about how do we build and grow and scale our businesses online, leading with the human connection first, right? So love it. I'm starting to see some fire here. Thank you for that, Becky, right? Awesome. So that's what I got for you today. Join me next week as we talk about how to overcome perfectionism paralysis. Overcoming perfectionism paralysis. That's what I'm going to be talking about next week. And I'm going to be sharing some of my 3 tips for how you can overcome perfectionism when it starts to paralyze you from taking any sort of action. And you're going to love that, because that was one of the 3 things that I talked about holding, how you are holding yourself back inside of my boot camp. And so we're going to dig a little deeper about 3 things that you could do to really overcome perfectionism paralysis. So same time, same place next week. I'll see you then. Take care. Bye.